Hey guys, Lancer here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks again for joining me while we ask the question, did Wizards of the Coast cause the reserve list to go up, or was it the financial markets themselves? Let's get to it. So, I guess one of the main things, and I have the 2021 release schedule for Wizards of the Coast for Magic the Gathering. There is Kaldheim, Time Spiral, Strixhaven, Dungeons and Dragons, Modern Horizon and Innistrad. That is not including all of the secret lairs and all of the supplementary products that come along with Magic the Gathering's release for 2021. 2020 was just as busy, even more busy. There was a lot of secret lairs. There was money that you could throw at almost everything. Double Masters cost a arm and a leg. The problem is that in those were also reprintings. The value of certain cards that people wanted to keep were dropping like flies, and people were not allowed to play in tournament settings and other settings which allowed price and other prizes and other incentives for them to build a deck around and to take it to a convention, to play against other people, to make friends. Commander is literally what has been holding up most of Magic the Gathering's financial values in the last couple of years, and it was even more so for 2020. One of the most important things to remember is when you look at what the reserve list was created for, there's a very clear idea behind it. The reserve list was created in the wake of the protests of Magic card collectors, when a lot of their cards had been devalued with the release of 4th editions and Chronicles. It had been their policy never to Wizard of the Coast to never reprint with a black border or any previously published Magic cards which has identical art or and card power. So that makes clear sense. Reserve list can be flip-flopped on. A lot of other channels have talked about the fact that reserve list can disappear. Even my friends agree that reserve list sometimes doesn't work for their sake. These guys do not invest. They don't pay attention to cards. They like to play the game. When you add that all in, there's a lot of anger from both sides, where certain people want to play the game and others just want to collect and make sure they can retain and invest in the game. But is this all caused by Wizards of the Coast, or is it the financial conditions that we have currently? With all the easy money that's going around, would we not expect prices to just go up because of inflation? If everything else goes up, then Magic the Gathering cards will too. And Reserve List is meant to be a safe place to put them if they're not going to be reprinted. So, the question, did Wizards of the Coast cause the Reserve List to go up? Yes. As simple as that. 100%. I mean, the amount of money that's being thrown around, 100%, they cause the reserve list prices to go up. And another thing is, I have Google Trends for reserve list in general and the price. Funnily enough, I think this word means different things for different people, but there is a trend here. You can let me know if there's another meaning for reserve list, but for some reason, there is actually a decent amount of search coming from India. Maybe there's more of a Magic the Gathering than there. I mean, I'm in Australia, so there's not really that many people, Indians, that I can play with, and that's coming from me. So, other than that, I wouldn't be too sure. The next thing is that Magic the Gathering, the term investing itself, has increased enormously since 2014 and has really spiked since November 2019 to January 2020. Coincidence? It's a weird one. I mean, February 2018, same thing happened, right? Didn't when February 8, 2018, wasn't that the initial spike for the reserve list? And a lot of the cards started moving up. And now we have this next spike, and we actually have a prediction for a future spike, January 20 to 2021. When it hits 100, that's a scary time because that usually means that the interest in whatever it is has peaked, and the retail people, us, have come in, swamped the place, and haven't figured out what to do and don't know how to exit. So whenever you see like an interest of 100, which obviously gets to 100 based on the previous history, but that usually means that things are not looking too well for their interest. It means that there's too much interest. You can at least take something out of it. The Google Trends doesn't always have to make sense. So in my mind, when I brought up this question, is Wizard of the Coast causing the reserve list buyout, or is the financial conditions? It's Wizard of the Coast causing reprints and too many products that cost too much and take too much money out of people's hands, causing people to instead turn to an eternal safe way to protect their money with cards that they can still have fun with. I know that when I was doing the exact same thing in 2020, I almost smacked myself in the face and said, why did you spend so much money in the past when you should have just been buying reserve list cards? I haven't been doing that recently because I just feel like some of them are getting out of hand. But in middle of 2020, I'm just like, yeah, the government's going to throw money at everything. Wizards of the Coast is going to continue releasing these other products. Why don't I just buy into the reserve list and not have to worry other than very specific singles to get into what currently is Magic the Gathering? And with Magic the Gathering Arena, there's even less incentives. So the only thing I really want is collector pieces, very specific cards or sets. Okay, so fine. Wizard of the Coast has caused a issue where people don't trust their cards that are coming out and they don't want to put money into them always. But Rudy just had another video that talked about how collector boxes are flying off the shelf. They are disappearing like crazy. And the only reason I can think about it is because collector boxes have sucked up all the money because I was meant to go to the booster boxes and other parts of the game and have taken it onto themselves as a collector item. They pretty much just get bought up, sit on someone's desk, and then slowly get sold off back into the economy because people know that it can be done. And Rudy is right again in the fact that if people have done it 1, 2, 3 times for each collector set that comes for each set, then in the future, there's going to be huge demand at the start on the ground for collector boxes. Online arbitrage is still a thing where people can buy and sell higher. This is a very scary time because if everyone's doing it and Wizards of the Coast is not printing for the demand, then the prices will just keep increasing. And the same thing goes for reserved list, where if the supply does not keep up with the demand, then the prices will increase. What can Wizards of the Coast do about this? They could try a couple of different things. One of them is actually the idea, which was provided in the comments, where they could have a new reserved list card or a bunch of cards that come out in each set. Now the problem is, can they or should they announce this before the card comes out? Before the set comes out? Or is it after the set is done that they go, okay, guys, we have picked 5 cards from this set. These 5 cards are now reserve list cards. We are never printing cards like them again. And will they all be mythic? Will they be rares? Will they choose and pick between rares and mythic? I'm not too sure how they're going to do it. They don't even have to go rares and mythic. Sometimes they can just pick a good uncommon and be like, yeah, we're not going to print this card again. Good luck, fight over it. They could do that. That'll take a lot of money out of what's currently the reserve list and push it back into current items. They can do that with actually a lot of the previous sets as well. Will they do that? That's a tricky question. You guys can comment below, and if you think that they will, try to set up a new reserve list for each set that comes out. That'll be an interesting idea. I know other channels have also talked about it. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do about that because that'll give incentive for certain people to start buying into their current sets. The next thing they can do is most likely they can slow down on the reprints themselves so that the card value can go back up and the market can start getting out of positions that they're already in to go into other positions. Momentum is a thing. If prices are too high in one part, they might liquidate it to try to grab the profits on in another part of the game. In that same thing happens in stocks and in other investment channels all the time. If you're in heavy into technology right now, you might want to or should have probably a couple of days ago slowly moved into commodities and things that can go with inflation. The same thing can happen for Magic. So between those two, I would be very interested to see what Wizards of the Coast best direction would be. And if you guys have any other ideas, please let me know, comment below, because I feel like this is going to cause some big issues. The collector boxes becoming a collector only item and everything else becoming devalued because no one wants to buy in. and get booster boxes and so on. So the prices drop. The estimated value drops because no one's going to play with the new cards unless they're super broken. Reserve list cards going up in prices no matter what, and old cards going up in prices. None of that is over the long term healthy for the game. Collectors like it, investors like it. We all think that's really cool, but it's not good for the game because it doesn't keep the game growing. You know, if the new players are like, oh, okay, so the new cards, you're telling me that if I buy this deck or this card, that's not going to be worth anything. Okay, in that case, I'm just going to try to move to another deck, another game. And if they're not printing overpowered cards, then they're just going to feel missed out as well. It is a really, really unfortunate scenario where the people that play Magic the Gathering like to be competitive, like to protect their money. Most of them are pretty good at that kind of stuff. So it's really awkward to be caught in the middle where if you're a new player and you just come in and you're just like, well, everything that I wanted is out of reach, or everything that I want, or everything that I don't want, or in being told that I should buy, is just like, total garbage, then they're not going to find a good balance either. So anyways, guys, I'm going to make another video based on what the reserve list is doing and if we're actually doing the smart things. I know that Rudy just made one saying that Timmy's are a lost cause. Let's find out if that's true. And please like and subscribe, and I'll get to you guys next time. See ya.